Hello, hockey fans. Now let me explain something. The team that I pull for, the logo's right there. The team that I pull for is on TV right now. The Avalanche are playing the Kings. But I'm not here to talk about the Avalanche. I'm here to talk about the Oilers, mainly one player in particular, Connor McDavid. He deserves better than this shit that's happening in Edmonton. He really does. It gets on my nerves. It's been getting on my nerves for the last few years. Look what's happened with Edmonton in the last, couple years, let's say. I'll go back to the 2020 season, okay? The 1920 season. Of course, Edmonton, it was hampered by the pandemic. There was a 24-team postseason, and the Oilers were ranked 5th out of 12 teams in the Western Conference. Remember, it was 24 teams in that playoffs. Very fun playoff. And yeah, the Avalanche just scored. Ahmed Cabell put it in. Man, what a goal! Breakaway goal. But back to my point. The kid's amazing. He's a hell of a talent. That's all I hear about Connor McDavid. He's just doing things. He's doing all sorts of things. But he's on a crappy team. He is.
If he doesn't block the shot, this play can't happen.
And
pushed up the ice to all the way to Bell.
And it's ridiculous what is happening with this team right now. They are sinking fast. The Oilers were in first place about a month or so ago. Now, in that Pacific Division, the expansion team's holding them up. Vancouver passed them. You know the Canucks, the same Canucks whose fans were yelling at the team to fire everybody, and they did, and they went on this big winning tear. Yeah, they moved past Edmonton in the Pacific Division standings. Edmonton is sinking. And they have two young stars in Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl carrying the load and suffering. And of course, Leon Draisaitl made the news because some jackass reporter had the nerve to ask, "Why are you so pissy?" He wasn't getting pissy, okay? Reporters always do this. They're out to make athletes look bad. It's disgusting. And but again, Connor McDavid, the kid's good. I cannot talk about enough. But anyway, I was going back a few years. The 2020 playoffs, they were 5th seeded. They faced the Blackhawks team who had been sputtering for the last few seasons. And yet, the 12th seeded Blackhawks actually eliminated the Oilers in that qualifying round series. It didn't even go 5 games. It was a best-of-5 series. But they only needed 4 games to beat them. And this was in Edmonton. Remember, they were playing in the West was playing in the Edmonton bubble, which meant Connor got sent home by a .500 team on his own ice. The indignity. And then the following season, last year, was the shortened season. Connor has a hell of a season, a 100-point season in a 56 game campaign. And I watched the game he got 100 in. He entered with 96. He needed 4 points to get 100. He got him that night. A goal and 3 assists. I think he got 105, 106 points. Won the Ross. Ended up getting the Hart for league MVP. But in the playoffs, they got swept. Despite having the home ice advantage. They got swept by a Jets team who sputtered their way into the playoffs and were missing players. The Edmonton Oilers are pathetic. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl aren't, but the rest of the team around them, they're pathetic. I've said for the last 2-3 years, McDavid needs to get the hell out of Edmonton. He's too good to be playing in such a shit show like that. And that's exactly what that team is, an absolute shit show. I mean, McDavid's only won 1 playoff series in his career. And yeah, that's not going to tug at the heartstrings of fans of another Canadian team. But A kid that good should get as much playoffs as possible. You need to. A player that good should be going. Should not only be going to the playoffs every year. He should be going deep into them. Third round, round 3. They can't even get that. They can hardly get to the second round. The one time he made the second round was 2017. Since then, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Connor McDavid is too good for this. He is. He's too good. He's the best player to wear that Oilers jersey since somebody who wore number 99. What's that name? Wayne Gretzky. He did all right for himself. Led in goals, led in points, 4 Stanley Cups. He did all right.
Give me a hand with this. I'm trying to suss out a theory.
It's crazy. I just saw that I'm on Twitter and I just got a tweet that gave some very damning statements about the Oilers. It says the Oilers haven't won a game in this calendar year. They haven't. Meanwhile, I'm a fan of a team who hasn't lost in regulation this calendar year. But the Oilers haven't won a game in 2022. They haven't won since December 18th. And despite having McDavid and Draisaitl, or as I call them, Superman and Batman, they've only won 3 games since December 1st. Connor, I don't think the hockey world would blame Connor if he pulled a LeBron and went on TV and said, "I'm taking my talents somewhere." I think he deserves that. I really think he deserves that because he's too good to be on this sinking fucking ship. He is. He needs to get out. He's 25 years old. That's a baby in hockey because hockey players play forever. He's 25 years old. He has plenty of time to get himself at least 1 cup. He's got plenty of time. So he needs to just get out of there. You know he's frustrated. I watched him in last year's playoffs. I saw the frustration. He is not happy. He won't say it outright, but he's not happy.
It was out of my hands.
So, yeah, Connor needs to get out, and Draisaitl does too. Both of them need to go. For their own sake, because they're too good for this to happen. These are the last 2 Hart Trophy winners. Draisaitl got it in 2020, Connor got it last year, and they're on this sinking fucking ship called the Edmonton Oilers that is going absolutely nowhere but down. They gotta get out. They gotta go. So anyway, that's my piece about it. And I'll just let any puckheads watching this enjoy the rest of the hockey action.